Hola, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos otra vez a mi canal. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, I think it's been about 3 months where I have been consistently posting on YouTube every week, and something that I haven't done is basically tell you about me. A lot of you guys have been following me on Instagram for a while. Maybe some of you are new to this channel and are barely getting to know me. So I think that it's time for you guys to get to know me a little bit more. Let's say deep into it, whether it's from my childhood memories, my relationship with Hector, my motherhood. So I asked you guys to send me your questions on Instagram and I'm going to be answering them. So keep watching to learn 30 things about me. My name is Paola Guadalupe Alberdi. I'm not named after anyone. There isn't another Paola in my family. I was born and raised in San Diego. My family is from Mexico and I have some family in Spain as well. My favorite childhood memory has to be just going over to my cousin's house after school. I used to go to a private school and I used to be a total tomboy when I was younger. So for me, my highlight of the day was getting off school, going to my cousin's house. I was really close to my cousin Andrew, which were like a year apart. And I would take off my uniform, put his skater jeans on and his obviously he was a boy, so like his clothes on, and we would go skateboarding. My favorite things about myself. It's like one of those things when they ask you to describe your style, you just don't know. I would have to say that I like that I'm loyal, sometimes almost too loyal. I've lost some friends over it, but I'm loyal and I'm ambitious. I hate spiders, and my greatest fear is losing someone in my family. Embarrassing story. I think one that hits the books is when I was 15 and my whole family went to Europe for the summer. And my mom and I had just came, I think we were in Madrid, and we were exiting the museum and we were in the gift shop. And there was this super cute guy behind the counter, and we were waiting in line, and my mom and I were just discussing how beautiful he was in Spanish. And when we went up to buy the things that we had gotten in the store, the guy turned to us and said thank you in Spanish. And I remember just turning bright red. My mom didn't even know what to, because my mom obviously was older than him, and even she was saying how cute he was. That definitely, I can't get that memory out of my mind. I think that's when I was most embarrassed. My favorite color at the moment is yellow. Favorite food is sushi, and I like the raw stuff, like uni or toro or red snapper. I'll have it without rice, I love it. Drink, I would have to say I love anything like an iced tea, maybe peach flavored or green tea. That's definitely my go-to. I'll just add a little bit of milk to it to make it creamy. My favorite physical activity has to be, does going on a walk with Enzo count?
No.
I don't really work out, so I do love to run. Favorite time of the day has to be around noonish. I'm not an early person and I start feeling like myself around noon. I love blazers or trench coats. I majored in international business with marketing. So I was always into fashion and styling clothing and putting outfits together, and I think that's kind of what made me start my blog. I had been following bloggers for some time, and I kind of realized that I could be doing the same thing because I loved putting outfits together, and that's basically what they were doing on social media. And that's how I started. I was working for a company that had different products. It was a small investment firm, and I was brand manager for 3 products, which I feel like was nothing related to what I do now, but it definitely helped me learn like the ins and outs on how to develop a product, what like psychology goes behind, you know, everything you see at Target and Dwayne Reed and all of this. So I feel like it definitely helped me in some way on how to market myself and my brand. So the things I love about being a blogger is that I can work from home, or from wherever, basically. Obviously there's a lot of perks like traveling and cool locations and cool campaigns. I honestly love what I do, and if you would have asked me 5 years ago, that I would have thought that I would have actually made a successful blog and would have been an influencer, I would have never believed you. It's definitely like a dream come true that I can call this my job. Hardest part of my job now as a mom is definitely being away from Enzo and my family. I feel like before having Enzo, Hector would be able to travel with me a lot, and now that we have Enzo, it's really hard because we have to kind of manage our time and kind of always, not always, but sometimes be separated. So I think that's been the hardest. Favorite fashion show? I mean, it depends, you know, like when I first got invited to Chanel, I will never forget that moment, because Chanel is a brand that I have admired for so long, ever since I was young. So that has a special place in my heart. But then as to production and like just a cool fashion show in general, I really loved Dolce & Gabbana this past February. The first part of the show, they actually entered the runway with drones holding handbags, and it was like amazing. It was just the fact that like now everything is gearing towards that is just like, it's a new generation. And I really, really love that show. I own way too many shoes, but I would say, I mean, I don't know the exact amount, but more than 150.
Holy shit.
So, top of my bucket list, I'm just gonna relate it. I know you can have anything on your bucket list, but I'm gonna relate it to travel, just because Hector and I, ever since we got married, well actually before we got married, we made a list of all the places that we want to go to. And we were very blessed to travel a lot before we had Enzo, so we crossed a lot of those off the list. But I would have to say that I have 3 places on the top of my bucket list to visit, and it's Machu Picchu. It is Tokyo, Japan in general. I want to go to Kyoto and Osaka. And number 3, I really want to go to the Northern Lights. That was actually number 1 on Hector's list, so it's number 3 on mine. Okay, so different jobs. I started working ever since I was 16 and never really stopped since. I really loved working, and like, I guess I learned really young on how to make money, and I really liked that. You know, I had the support of my parents obviously until I got married, but I don't know, just the fact that I could have my own money like made me feel independent, and you know, you could like spend your money on whatever you wanted. So I would say I started young. My first job was at Abercrombie. It was the only store at the mall that was hiring people that were 16 years old. So I was really excited to do that. And then from there, I did a couple more retail jobs. I worked at Anthropologie, and then I also worked at the World Trade Center here in San Diego, and that I really liked because we were doing like events. And then I also worked at Balboa Park as a event waiter, and that paid really well because it was basically weddings, and so they would pay you minimum wage, but you would actually get like a huge tip, because obviously the service charge is included already, and Like I was 18 and making like really good money. After that, I went on to working as maybe like an assistant for this guy who had just a lot of money and had a lot of companies. And then after that, I worked as a brand manager. So I had a lot of jobs before becoming a blogger. Favorite place I've traveled to has to be, I mean, it's hard to pick one, but I really love the Maldives. I know it's cliche, everyone says, oh my God, it's so beautiful, but really it is. We went for our honeymoon and we stayed there for 5 nights and it was beautiful. You almost get in sync with the schedule. I remember it would be like 7, 8 o'clock at night and we would be tired and we would wake up with the sunrise. And you're in the middle of nowhere, right? So we stayed on like an ocean bungalow, you're in like a villa, which is literally you're like in these huts and there's nothing around you. Like maybe there's like an island where you can go for the lobby or whatever, but you have to grab a boat to go there. So just seeing the sunset and the sunrise every morning and like seeing all the fishes and little sharks, they don't do anything, but they're like sharks, they're like in the water, is just amazing, you know? So that's definitely a memory that I'll remember forever. So three trends that I like at the moment are pastels, like a light blue or a light pink. I'm loving those colors. I'm also liking that color is coming back, like bright colors, and the Western vibes. I don't know if I'll ever wear cowboy boots, but I'm definitely into like fringe and suede. Something that I really want to do that I've never done or visited is take a helicopter ride around the Grand Canyon. You were not as fat as you thought you were.
Seriously?
Literal. I would just spend my time with Enzo and not worry about work and disconnect. And if I could choose, I would be in like a perfect weather on a beach. I really love Better Buzz coffee. They just opened one in Hillcrest. It's not like Instagram friendly, but they have good coffee. As for restaurants, I really love Trilogy Sanctuary. It's in La Jolla, and again, it's not like cute or anything, but they have the best vegan food. So when we were dating, I mean, it's nothing like too dramatic. To be honest, we have a good relationship and had a good relationship. I would say it's gotten definitely stronger throughout the years. But at the beginning, when I started dating him, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I had just gotten out of kind of bad relationship. I don't know, I was heartbroken. I just didn't really want to have a boyfriend at that time. I was looking to travel. I was about to go to Barcelona and I met Hector. So that's kind of what I refer to when it was like not the perfect timing at all. But I met him and I remember that I decided to give it a chance because I was going away anyways, and I thought to myself, maybe it was very selfish of me, but at that time I was like, well, if it doesn't work out, I'm still going to be like having fun. I'll be in Barcelona, you know, so I decided to try it out, and look at me now, 10 years later, we dated for 5 years and been married for almost 5 years. But that's kind of what I talk about, like there was ups and downs because he's also 6 years older than me. So I feel like we were at the beginning, I was 20 and he was 25, 26-ish, because sometimes we're 5 years apart depending on what time of the year. And I feel like we were just in very different stages of life. Like he was very mature for his age. I was very immature for my age. In terms of like relationship and like what I wanted and stuff. So I wanted to go out all the time. He was just kind of over it. So at the beginning it was really hard because although we made each other extremely happy and we wanted obviously the relationship to work, there was a lot of things that just weren't kind of working for us. So I would say like the first 2 years of our relationship was kind of hard. But we both, you know, kind of stood by it, you know, because we knew that we wanted to be together. And then I think I just matured. I think it was just, I needed to mature to like realize, you know, what was important, and like, and then everything kind of fell into place. And yeah, here we are, 10 years later. So one would be, hold on. Okay. So if I could sit down and have dinner with 3 people, because one person is way too hard. Even 3 people, choosing 3 people is way too hard. 1, it would be Ellen DeGeneres, just because I think she's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
2, it would be Anna Wintour, just because I would love to like hear her thoughts on the industry and the fashion. And you know, she's just amazing to what she has become after so many years. And 3, I would love to sit down and have a talk with like a president. I just can't decide which one right now. It's hard. Maybe the first female president. Oh, you know what? I would like to have lunch with Oprah.
Okay,
No,
last.
Beyonce.
Girl, god damn it, choose one.
Hold on, this is so hard. It's because Queen Bee. I would love to sit down and talk to her. Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? Hopefully there's another baby. And so is a big brother. And I would love to see my brand grow, and maybe launch my own company, a product. I don't know what it would be, but something like that. And overall, just be happy. I probably see myself living in San Diego still, and just enjoying my family. So I hope this gave you a little bit more of an insight of myself, and you got to know me a little bit more. If you have any more questions about me, whether it's relationship, childhood, blogging, definitely let me know. I will be answering all of them on the comments below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!